Alright, so I wanted to make a video on how liberals are far more racist towards black people than conservatives are. Okay, that would include the Republican Party, by the way. I mean, matter of fact, a lot of times you don't even have to look at any of the stats I'm going to bring up, um, or show examples how fucking racist these people are. A lot of times you just know it by the way they act. You know what I mean? You can hear what they say, but statistically, what I'm going to go into is like how white people specifically. I think it was because of Hitler, really, maybe just because he shared skin color with us. Like we keep getting fucking thrown in a lot with him. Um, I think that might be why people think that conservatives, which conservatives had nothing. Hitler was a fucking socialist, period. Okay? He was a socialist. He was anti capitalism. He was in the socialism. That was his stick. And I can do another video on that. Trust me, if you think that he was capitalist, you're going to lose that debate. You're going to lose that argument. I mean, because there's just so much proof out there to the contrary. But I was looking to see how many videos are out there about this subject, like liberals and how racist they are and all that stuff. So I figured I'd start out our video compilation here with Malcolm X and something he was talking about in a video. God, this is an old one too. So let's get into it. I like by his own words, and I'm not saying I'm a fan of Malcolm X. I think sadly there's a lot of racism in this country, and you might ask, like, why liberals are like that. I mean, they are the Democrat Party, you know, the party of KKK. These are the same people. They just because they put a mask on doesn't change the way they see you if you're black or any other color or any other country origin for that matter. Because I'm telling you, when all the invaders came in, when they brought all these parasites in, they knew what it would do. Why do you think that they mass let all these people in? Because they see them as lesser than them. Why do they want to keep them in the country? Because their toilets need to be cleaned, right? Somebody's got to do the labor, right? You know, the low IQ shit. Because there can never be an intelligent black person. You know what? I've never heard a conservative say that. I mean, not one. And I grew up in Baltimore City, and let me tell you something. White people are not racist compared to, if you go by, you know, black people and white people. They're nowhere near the racist levels as black people are. That's just, if you know if you ever lived around black people, sorry, you'll know this. Like, I mean, they're the only race that has the cojones to stick their head out the door and say, "What you on my street for, boy?" But yet, we always get videos and people saying, "Oh, that's what white people are doing." I've literally never seen a white person do that. But then again, I was raised in the 1990s, like, and in my time, when I was in 1990s, the race shit was done. I mean, there was comedians that can make, you know, any kind of jokes they wanted to. It didn't matter what people's ethnicity was. And you know what? Everybody fucking laughed about it, man. You know? I mean, there wasn't... Look, I went to multiple schools. I had kind of a diverse schooling history because I kept getting moving around. In Baltimore City, I was around a whole lot of black people, right? And yes, black people do jump you. All that is true. That is not stereotyping. That is just fact. I've been jumped by a lot of black groups of people just because of my skin color. I'll be honest with you. I don't ever remember seeing white people treat black people like that. But then again, you know, they'll go back to the Civil War times and, you know, Jim Crow and blah, 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 you know, and all this other shit. By the way, even with all that stuff, I can make huge arguments, like, you know, how societies integrate and how forcing the integration is probably what led to a lot of this. I mean, I don't know if people understand this, but when the segregation of schools, which, by the way, black people majorly by majority support segregating schools again. Isn't that fucking crazy how that works? So every time somebody's trying to put you down, white people, most likely they have far worse views. I mean, the idea that white people can't have pride in their history and their culture that created everything we have today. I mean, not everything. Obviously, other people created things, But I've seen so many arguments, and I did pay attention in school, and I have a lot of time on my hand. When I was younger, I used to study history. I love history, especially the American Civil War. I mean, not the Civil War. The when we split off from Britain. I love muskets, ships with cannons on them. So obviously, I'd be attracted to that. But the idea that a nation rose to defeat the strongest military power on the fucking planet in such a short amount of time, being America taking out Britain, was insane. You're an American, you should have a lot of pride in your country. Everybody trying to shame you and put you down, well, they're doing that for a purpose. They're trying to get you to hate your own culture. They're trying to get you to hate your own country. Because everybody, look, when you're the winning team, everybody's going to hate you. You know what I mean? That's just a fact. That's how it is. I did quite a bit of research into this. I've been doing it my entire life, to be honest with you, and I've been arguing out against it. I'm not going to lie. I was against, this is sort of related, but not, I guess. I was against gay marriage. I can still remember having this debate with somebody I care very deeply for. It's my friend's mother, okay? And she was pro-gay marriage, and I was obviously against it. And she couldn't give me one good reason why gays should get married. And I said even back then, watch, even if they do it as a state institution, which it shouldn't have been done because it's a Christian theme, it would be abused. Eventually, it would be abused. It's like you give these people a step, and they take a mile. You know what I mean? You try to give them something, whatever they're bitching and mooning about, and they take a mile. We should not be being, as a country, as a people, we should not be getting led by minorities, okay? And I don't just mean black people. I mean anybody. Gay people, fucking tranny people, like all the minorities out there. That is not how countries operate. It is not how society operates. You follow me? Like, that is not how it should be. Like, so the very few should have more power over the majority of people. You realize how explosively stupid that is? I mean, more people are sane than insane. I don't know about today, but historically, more people are sane than insane, yet I mean, look what's going on now. All the insane fucking people out there. Especially in the Democrat political party. I mean, these people are sick, dude. But let's listen to what Malcolm X had to say about this. Because, everybody considers him to be, like, king on this subject. And he was fighting on it and all that. Again, there's things about him that I'm not a fan of. So, I'm not going to pretend on this channel just to get racial, pats on the back, because I'm not a racist, and I know I'm not. And you know what? If somebody calls me a racist, I'm gonna laugh, because, dude, that's like me calling somebody whatever insult I can think of, right? I mean, that's insane. If you're getting upset because somebody's insulting you, then you're way too soft. You need to harden up. Trust me, insults are far better than bullets. You know what I'm saying? But where we're going to in this country, and that's what I was going to cover in yesterday's video, is, we're heading closer and closer to a civil war. And I'm going to do a different video on that. I think it's going to be interesting, because I was reading an article about it. Anyway, before I get off topic, let's get into what Malcolm X thought about this. There's no way, just so you know, I don't think there is. Let me see. Oh, wait a minute.
Being friendly and being a friend, I think, are two different things. I think there are many whites who act friendly toward Negroes. A fox acts friendly toward the lamb. And usually the fox is the one who ends up with the lamb chop on his plate. The wolf doesn't act friendly, and therefore the wolf has more difficulty in getting the lamb chop in his plate.
I'd like to point out, though, that...
I say that because it is usually if you study the structure of the Negro community, economically, politically, civically, psychologically, and otherwise, it's controlled by the white liberal, who usually poses as the friend of the Negro, who actually differs from the white conservative in the same way that the fox differs from the wolf. Their appetite is the same. Their motives are the same. It's only their mannerisms and methods that differ. Being friendly and being a friend, I think, are two different things. I think there are many whites who act friendly toward Negroes. A fox acts.
All right. I think, I mean, look, the man was fighting for things that are going on in his times. He saw the way he saw things. I mean, obviously, I detect quite a bit of racism in a lot of the things that he said. But that being said, it doesn't matter. The fact is, he's 100% right. White liberals think black people are too stupid to work phones. They think that they're too poor to have a car or to get an ID. I mean, they think that they're too stupid to know how to use a computer, for fuck's sakes, man. I mean, literally, how isn't that racist? And then you might ask me, well then, Reaper, why are they why do black people vote Democrat? Because of the benefits. Period. Because they get stuff out of it. Why do black people, you know, a good bit of them, when they're losing, when they're backed into a corner, they immediately go to racism? Even people I never thought would do that, friends that I thought would never do that, I've seen them do it. And I'm telling you, the levels of insane story making that comes out of some of these racist people when they do that shit. Like I had this guy once. He served in the Navy and a community. I'm part of a veteran community, so. But he's a black dude, and he was telling me, God, I'm going to try not to laugh, okay? He was telling me how he used to be, his job in the military, in the Navy, was to hunt down racist people. Okay, racist white people specifically, alright? Because black people can't be racist, obviously. Anyway, he sat and talked with us in the party for about a half an hour, and he really thought we were all eating that shit up. You know, that we believed it and stuff like that. So at the end, I was like, bro, everything you said was a fucking lie. Well, why do you think that, man? Stolen valor, blah, blah, blah. I mean, Jesus, dude. The amount of nonsense that comes out of somebody's mouth when you just disagree with something that they're so locked onto. I said, have you ever heard of something, and all of you in the military that have served should know this, called the UCMJ, United Code of Military Justice, okay? That commander could not order him to do something like that. And the fact that he did it without... There's too many holes in this. Like, another part of the story was that he, I don't know, rammed some Nazi's head into a fucking steel rafter on a boat. First of all, not for 1 second do I believe that people in the military are racist. I mean, you're talking about people who have to have each other's backs, and that's what I'm saying. Like, look, I'm not saying nobody that's been in the military can turn racist, but most everybody that's been in the military are not racist in the military. You know why? Because those people have got your back. When it comes down to life or death, it's fast how quick all that nonsense fades away. You know what I mean? How all the weak points to get you, like, okay, here's another curious thing. Why do minorities wield more power in this country than the majority of the country? And to the heart of me making this video, okay, why is it that voter ID laws aren't being pushed in every facet? If we the people really are the leaders of this country, right, our votes are the ones who make the decisions, then how is it that we don't even have a secure election system? And it isn't just one party, just so you get this. John Thune, the senator of the conservative center, he needs to be ran out of office, by the way. That man, he comes out and it explains the differences between the two filibusters. He says how he's going to get through the SAVE Act and all that because it requires people to have voter ID. And then he comes out the next day and he's like, oh, we'll try to get to it, but, you know, we got a lot of things on our plate. You know how much shit the Senate does? Almost nothing. I mean, they put this SAVE Act back, I think, 6 fucking months ago, and literally, it's just a vote, man. It's a fucking vote. And, by the way, the filibuster, they need to end that. I mean, this is an excuse, and I think Republicans are not as guilty, but some of them are. They win elections the same way. I mean, especially in conservative against conservative runoffs, you know? I really do believe that, because they aren't given enough attention, in my opinion. That's how people like John Thune get into office. And of course, everybody wants to get that illegal vote because it's non-trackable. They don't even need to get the vote. I mean, how does it make sense? Look, until they do this, until they put through voter ID, okay, and secure election system in here, you're talking about the most. This is our power in America. If we don't have that, we are not America anymore. And I think we haven't had that for the last 20 years. I think that we collapsed then and we just allowed it to go on. And people aren't going to like me for saying this, possibly, but I'm really kind of disappointed in the conservative base. I mean, Democrats probably love that, but let me explain. Conservatives talk a big game. You know what I mean? They're always calling shit out. And I like that, by the way. I love it, to see that happening. But that's about as far as they go. I get it. Like, a lot of these protests are paid protests. But you know what? People are still showing up. So why don't we use the same tactics against them? It's weird to me that the Conservative Party, the Republican Party, my bad, not the Conservative Party, because that's two different things. But that the Republican Party always seems to want to keep the Democrats in power. Like, they always want to keep them relevant. If we ended illegal voting, okay, if we made everybody have ID, you know what would happen? Most of those illegals wouldn't be able to vote. I mean, I'm sure some would fake IDs and stuff like that, but it would be very easy to track. Right now, it's not. You know why? Because you go to get the voter information rolls, and you know what? They're all most of them are deleted or gotten rid of very soon after the election happens, for one thing. And the second thing is that they could pose as anybody. You, me, every illegal vote is a cancellation of an American vote. They brought in 20 million invaders, okay? You'd be surprised. What is it? 70 million people voted for Trump, and that was considered a blowout. You realize how many people are in this country, right? It's over 350 million. With illegals, it's probably well higher than that. 350 million people and only 70 million people voted? I mean, even if you give, what would that be? 70 plus... 40? I would say probably 45, if that. That's like 110 million. That's not even half of the population voting. And all of you out there not voting, shame on you. You're the reason that this country is collapsing, and sadly, we'll never... I mean, that is like the worst thing you could do, because people are out there fighting and dying for the things that you enjoy every day. And you don't... that's why I hate people coming up and thanking me for serving, to be honest with you. Because if they meant it, they would be protecting the country. I mean, soldiers go outside of the country to fight the enemies from getting to our country. We cannot do anything inside the country. You know what I mean? Like soldiers, Nat Guard, that's a little bit different. But either way, we still can't just go out there and enforce laws. So that leaves it to you, the citizens, and now me, because I'm a disabled vet. It's my... That's why I make these videos. I feel like it's my responsibility being somebody, and I've said this before, I'm not going to go into it again, but I feel like I owe the American people and our system of government. I love this country, but without voting rights, it's not any different than any other totalitarian evil regime out there. Like, straight up. I mean, we're all shocked at Ukraine and what they did. They just did it blatantly out in the open. That's the only difference. Like, with the Biden, when they cheated the election with Biden and all that, they just hid it. I mean, it's crazy. What is it? During World War II, there were some things that even the Nazis wouldn't do that American politicians were doing. I think this has been going on for a very long time, that there's been voter interference and manipulation by both parties. And we need to root this shit out. Trump is right. This should be a key thing for him, because get this, you're going to see this video. Now, you saw the Malcolm X bit about, like, who's more racist. This is going towards, this is important, trust me. And the voter ID laws, by the way, are just common sense. So let's see the reason why. This is crazy. Just strap up, because this is going to get fucking nuts, man.
Voter ID. The Senate saying they may press forward and try to push this act forward that's passed the House. Take a listen to the polling on voter ID.
Normally, you might expect, hey, there'd be a big divide by party with Republicans really for it and Democrats really against it. but not really here. I mean, just take a look here. Favorite photo ID to vote. You got 95% of Republicans, pretty much all of them, but even 71% of Democrats favor photo ID to vote. It's not really all that controversial. The American people are with Nicki Minaj, whether they are Republican or even if they are Democrats.
He mentions Nicki Minaj because she put out on X, what sensible, forward-thinking, cutting-edge leading nation is having a debate on whether or not there should be voter ID? Like, question mark. There are actually...
Yeah, when Nicki Minaj is coming out and making more sense than most people in this country for the reason not to vote and everything, you know we're in a fucking dark place in this country right now. You know what I mean? Like, not that I have any disrespect for Nicki Minaj. I mean, I don't really listen to her. I'm a dude. I don't really listen to her music. But that being said, I do believe that she has some. I had to check. Maybe it wasn't her. It was that other chick, but put out some pretty bad videos with Satan and all this crap with, you know, wanting to hump the legs of Satan and all this stuff. I'm not for that shit. I mean, I think that sadly there is good and evil in this world. And I definitely believe that the devil is out there playing games. Matter of fact, the devil's in the Democrat Party. They should make a fucking song about that. All right, sorry.
Fighting not to have people present ID while voting for your leaders. Do you get it? Do you get it now? Is this a winner for Republicans? Can they turn this into a winner?
As is typically the case, Nicki Minaj has got it right on the head.
She's leading on the political front.
On the head. Voter ID, I've been working on this thing for longer than I can
Why do you
remember.
think I asked you?
It is a no-brainer. It's always been a no-brainer. It doesn't matter how you break down the constituencies. The American people have always been in favor of it.
You have to use an ID to get a beer. You have to get on a plane. You have to...
We built a society around it, as it turns out, and so it would only make sense if you had to vote with one, too. I think they ought to make these people vote on this as many times as they can, because there is no defense for not wanting voter ID at the polls. But it continues to be an issue over and over again. They ought to make this a dividing line. I don't know if it's in the context of this DHS bill. They got enough stuff to try to figure out with ICE and everything else in a short time period. But it really needs to be a central focus.
And they could get some Democrats, Kevin.
They certainly could get some Democrats. I point to my adopted home state of South Carolina that passed a bipartisan bill involving voter ID, extending early votes, some drop locations as well. Got the Congressional Black Caucus in Columbia, South Carolina on board. That can be a model. Democrats don't need to uniformly oppose this just to stand in opposition to the president.
All right.
Boy. So we got to talk about a bombshell poll from CNN that pushes back directly against the narrative from the left that voter ID laws are racist. Okay, this is something that white liberals have come up with because they believe that black people and minorities are too dumb to get IDs, right? And if they believe that black people are too dumb and minorities are too dumb to get IDs, I'm not entirely sure why they think they should be able to vote. Right? Maybe it's because they rely on dumb people in order to get votes, right? And because, again, they think that black people and minorities are dumb or too dumb to get voter ID, they're the perfect people for Democrats to pander to in order to get votes, right? It all kind of makes sense when you...
It also comes into the ability for these illegals and others to buy votes. Like, I mean, seriously, sadly, the low IQ don't understand how valuable their vote is, so they'll sell it for cheap.
Understand liberal logic, okay? But yes, they really do believe that black people and minorities are too dumb to get voter ID. Take a look.
An opinion on voter ID laws?
Yeah, they're usually pretty racist and they're bad. I think voter ID laws are a way to perpetuate racism.
Would you go as far as say those laws are racist?
For sure.
Do you think it suppresses the African American vote?
Definitely.
Tell us how.
Because they're less likely to have state IDs.
Minority voters are less likely to have the kinds of IDs that have been described or required.
These type of people don't live in areas with easy access to DMVs or other places where they...
These fucking clowns, dude. They think that fucking black people live in Africa, man. They think they live in huts, dude. Straw huts with no internet access, no phone coverage. I mean, Jesus, these people. Look, call it as it is. This is pure fucking racism by low expectation, and it's far worse. Trust me. Like, these white people are truly racist. It's funny how you go back to socialism and it's always the same thing. They say one thing and they do another. You know what I mean? And then they're always doing this PR campaign. This is what I've tried to say to the Conservative Party over and over again. Look, the Democrat Party at this point, besides illegal voting, which that's 90%, I'm telling you, if they flip this, okay, and they get the SAVE Act through, which is why I think John Thune's backing off of it, they won't be able to cheat an election anymore. It'll be very detectable. I mean, remember in 2020, we wanted to see the results, and judges blocked it. I mean, it was fucking crazy how many people come out and block that. They didn't want anybody to see the poll numbers. They didn't want any proof. You know what I mean? Well, you can't see it because of you might get their identity. Who gives a shit? For one, it was a government agency. Is that not what we're doing when we go to vote? You know what I mean? There's just no logical argument against having, and I'm with Greg 100%, but having voter ID laws. But I'm with Greg 100%. Like, stupid people should not be voting. And I'm not just talking about low IQ. I mean people who don't know anything about politics, okay? They don't know anything about politics. They don't follow it or nothing else. They just hear, they'll be like out chilling one day or something like that, right? And then somebody will go, oh man, did you hear them conservatives, man? They're being white Nazis. They usually are, even though our party is very diverse. Yeah, big fucking surprise. Border Patrol is too. Remember the Alex Preddy thing? Yeah, they're melting down about that too, because it turns out the people who shot Alex Preddy were not white. They were Hispanic. And I mean, the sheer amount of House N-words that have come out from the Liberal Party, that's the face mask just gets ripped off, man. As soon as blacks turn against these liberals, their true actions, publicly it comes out. They just can't fucking hold it back, man. They can't hold it back. All of a sudden, N-words start flying everywhere. They're insulting black people. They're like, oh, I don't understand. They get black people to insult black people, you know what I mean? It's like, Jesus, dude. I mean, I don't think black people are missing this. I think they know that. I mean, the ones that are voting Democrat. I just think they understand that these clowns over here, whether it collapses our country or not, these liberals, they're going to give things like reparations to them and all that. That's what they're for. And who would turn down free shit? Right? I mean, I would if it's going to destroy my country. But I mean, you hear most people talk, especially from the liberal side, and I hate to say it, but a lot of black people too, they hate America. I mean, not a lot. I would say specifically on black people, okay? Not that other side. A matter of fact, it's turned out that if it wasn't for all this suppression, and that's what I'm going to say it is, the suppression from the liberals, far more black people would be going over to the Conservative Party. And they already are, by the way. So are Hispanics and everything else. I think they're smelling the wolf in the hen house. You know what I mean? The fox in the hen house. As Martin X was saying on there. So, Malcolm X, sorry. This is just crazy, dude. I mean, like I said, you guys, you know, you might not remember the 90s. I do very well, and racism was dead. I mean, I remember the KKK tried to come to Rising Sun, Maryland, okay, which is like a back neck. It's out in Maryland, but it's out in the woodies of Maryland, like the country. So I guess they felt free enough to come there. You know who was up there getting in their faces? It wasn't black people, okay, because there was barely any black people there. That's probably why they felt comfortable going there. That's why the KKK would never march in, like, Baltimore, right? But that being said, it was white people. I was one of them. And back then, it wasn't, this was, like, out in the open wearing face masks and all that. And I'm telling you, they're liberals. They're liberals. I mean, that's the Democrat Party for you. I mean, sadly, though, like, when it comes to self-interest, it's amazing what people will put up with if they're going to get something out of it. You know, if they're going to get money or clout or an excuse, you know. Say you don't file your taxes on time, or, you know, you get fined for driving fast. I mean, how many of you have seen a video of a black woman getting pulled over and how they act? I mean, and then the fucking illegals came here, right? What'd they do? They immediately adopted the same policy. They're like, oh, it's just racism. And it's like, oh my God, stop it. That's what I'm saying. Like, look, I get it. The number one country on the planet, the most powerful one, is going to get hate, right? But this is getting ridiculous. This is a ridiculous level of hate and stupidity. I mean, America is more generous than any other country on the planet. If you ask China to give you something, you know what they're going to give you? They're going to give you the Belt and Road Initiative, which means that they have ownership over the investments they put in there. So they put a road, they pave a road, so a medium area. Well, they still own that road. And any buildings they build too, and by the way, they're very subpar shit buildings that end up collapsing within a year or two. I mean, so really, that country's just sold its soul for what? For gain. Okay? It's just crazy, man. It's crazy. But, I mean, how stupid people are used, you know what I mean, to commit all these egregious acts, including racism and everything else. And it turns out there's a lot of stupid people in the Demon Rat Party. Sadly, mask off moment, like I said, these white liberals think that black people are too stupid, to get an ID. They think that black people, I mean, God, that's so insulting. If that was me, okay, if I was black, I'd be pissed about that. You know what I mean? You don't hear conservatives saying that. Maybe some highfalutin freaking rich person who's totally separate, and that's what a lot of these people are, by the way. They're very segregated. They live in very homogenously white communities. They're not down here with the rest of us, and that's really kind of the disgusting part about it when you get to it. There is no racial divide in this country, really. It's class division, and the Democrat class, the wealthier class, and that they are definitely the wealthier class, are the ones dividing us by keeping us focused on our color. And we really need to rise above this shit. I mean, seriously, we need to rise above it. And the problem with stopping it, though, is that, like I said, these people, they get incentives. You know what I mean? Black people, they get incentives as long as they're supporting Democrats. You know what I mean? We're never going to kill racism in this country until we kill the idea that's being used. Until we kill the excuse, the low expectation, the excuse by low expectation. Until we do that, racism is going to persist, because it's not really a race thing, it's a class thing. And I think that a lot of conservatives, because we have to live and breathe in this world, and a lot of the money and tax money comes from the conservative base. I mean, most of them have jobs. A lot of liberals don't have jobs. I mean, I guarantee you this dude's going to school. He ain't got a job, you know? And it's funny how they flip a lot of shit, by the way. It's not just that. Now it's insane. I was doing research for a video on the Civil War. And when you look it up for Democrats, right? Because Democrats were the party of the KKK. They were the party of slavery, okay? It was Republicans who were made to resist it, to rise up against it. But yet, they're claiming that the Civil War was fought between Democrats. There were remember the party flip? They first said, oh, well, Republicans and Democrats, as an entire party, everybody was just like, hey, I'll wear a blue tie today, you wear a red one. Oh, I like this blue tie, I'm just going to keep it. It was just a big old party flip. By the way, that's a very convenient excuse, isn't it? Every bad thing Democrats did all through history is now, conservatives' fault? And anybody who believes that are the people we don't need voting. Period. I mean, we don't need those kind of people voting. Because, either they're so self-interested that they'll live with a lie, or they're liars, or worse, they're working for another country trying to divide our country. You know, something I saw yesterday, Spain, a lot of the West is in revolt right now. I mean, they got good reason to, by the way, because the governments in the West for some reason have been captured by commies. It's not just America that's going through this. We're fighting back. You know what? Imagine if you lived in Britain, you know what I mean? Where really your vote doesn't count at all. I mean, they're going through the same shit, and I don't see any way out for Britain. I don't, because Britain doesn't have the Constitution like we do in America. You know what I mean? They have no way to fight against federal government overreach. And they're killing Britain. Britain's not going to exist anymore. And like I said, I can show you the global numbers on this. Fucking insane, man. I was trying to find a population in 1990 of white people, okay? Global population, because that speaks to it. That is how we need to address it, because it's a global thing. just because white people are 60% in America doesn't mean that we're the fucking majority. I mean, that's barely the majority right there. Around 550 million out of a global total of 1.6 billion. But either way, that's, wait a minute, per the 1900 census data compiled by the U.S. Census Bureau. Yeah, I did 1990 here, and that's what come up. But either way, it doesn't even, this is not, like, it's not known. This is very well known. White demographic decline. It's declining because white people are the ones always targeted. And I'm not saying that white people are always more intelligent than black people, but I mean, white people have invented the majority of the modern things that we enjoy. Yet it's okay to get up on TV and say, by this date, white people only exist at this percentage, and basically the idea is that we would be commingling with black people, and that basically we get a bunch of milk chocolate. Man, and by the way, in my opinion, that is not what is happening at all. I mean, sadly, what is happening is that most abortion clinics are geared up to kill white people. Most of all the policies out there that, I mean, and black people too. Actually, I'm not even just going to say white people, black people too. But sadly, we already started out, white people started out as being a minority, globally. So, and need I remind you some of the amazing shit that white people did. Like 500 Christians took on thousands or tens of thousands. I think they were outnumbered like an insane amount. In the Crusades. I mean, there's so many examples of this. I mean, just look what America did in World War II. You know what I mean? Anyway, so between 600, this is a population today, okay? And I'm going to write down here's the percentage. Between 648 million and 950 million. When you think about that, man, people need to be having babies. They attacked the white women. That's where we failed at. But how could we tell the white women not to listen to them? You know what I mean? And now they're so fucking insufferable, nobody wants to date them. Instead, most men are looking for foreigners. They don't want to date American white women because American white women are brain rotted to think that they're, I don't know, I swear, every time I see a picture of a woman in like plate mail, I'm just like, what the fuck? That would never happen. I mean, you know how much full plate mail with chain mail and all the other freaking shit you got to carry on over it weighs? And you're telling me you really think a woman could wear that shit? Get the fuck out of here, man. At least, I mean, just get your girlfriend and see if she could carry 80 pounds. So 80 pounds on her back. And then have her walk around in it all fucking day. And that's light, by the way, because it's more like it's probably closer to 150, 200 pounds, if not heavier, of armor. I mean, it's not light, and I could do research in that, but I'm just taking a wild guess. I could be wrong. I do know it's a lot of weight. It's just like a kit in the military. I mean, with the rucksack and all that, you're talking, 80 pounds with your chest rig, your gun. I mean, hell, probably more than that. But you're telling me that they want women who are on average shorter than men and definitely have less bone density. They definitely have. When I was in boot camp, this girl was doing she was trying to keep up training, I guess. It was co-ed even then, okay? I joined in 94, and I was doing my basic and stuff like that around then. And I remember doing MEPS training. That's a military indoctrination program, I think. Anyway, we were co-ed with women, and boy, did we get laid. Holy hell, dude. Never put men and women together in the military, okay? Never, ever. But, man, talk about Jesus. Anyway, at the MEPS office, these ladies, we all had to do push-ups, right? And this was my first real experience into it where I was like, what the fuck is going on? Why are we doing this? Why are we allowing women in combat roles? I know I'm all over the place, but it all does come back to the same thing. Oppressing, really mainly white men, And I'm not saying there isn't oppression going on across spectrum to a certain degree on other people. I'm just saying it is mainly focused on white Christian men, okay? And the stats prove that out, but everybody wants to ignore those. I mean, literally, it's staring you right in the face. So these women, their version of a push-up, like men, when I had to do a push-up, I had to go down to my breastbone, okay? And there was wide arm push-ups, there's, diamond push-ups, there's all kinds of freaking insane torture methods that they hit you with to strengthen you up. When I was looking at the women on the left, you know what I noticed? It was barely a push-up. Their boobs would hit the ground, they would consider that a push-up. Now, sadly, for the women out there that didn't have, a lot upstairs. They had to go lower, so they were getting worn out. But them women over there, chunky women that, you know, with the big old kazubas, yeah, barely a push-up, man. I'm talking like, I mean, if I showed you their version of a push-up, you would crack up laughing because it's not a push-up. That is not a push-up. Why are push-ups important? Because it gives you the strength to get up off the ground in full kit, you know, very quickly too, because you want to get up quick when you're being shot at, right? Just saying. I know I got a lot of crazy ideas, right? Crazy common sense fucking ideas. Sorry, man. This fucking smoking's killing me. I'm trying to quit, but it's hard. The global population of white people is estimated to be between 648 million and 950 million, making up approximately 8 to 15% of the world population, which is around 8.1 billion people in 2025. This demographic is primarily found in Europe, North America, parts of South America, and Oceania. I don't know where that is. But anyway, look, black people are not the minority, okay? What they do is they cherry pick data, okay? Everybody that claiming that they're a minority, they're not the minority. I mean, again, they cherry pick data. They'll either go by like the tribe of them or like the group like say America. We have 60. I think it's like 62% is like white people, and the rest are like a mix. Like I think black people represent 15 to 20% or something like that, and they represent like 70% of the crime. Seriously, but either way. And I don't believe that's a color to skin issue. I think that's a culture issue. You got to learn to separate the two. Calling out one doesn't mean you're racist. Saying that your culture's horse shit, it's bad, it's poisonous, you know what I mean? It's not the same thing as being like, oh, black people dumb, like these fucking liberals are. But either way, let that sink in. 8 to 15%, and that's down. That's down. I mean, hell. And on this one, if you go by the numbers, it's 1.6 billion. We are 550 million, okay? Look. Already, everybody else went up. 8.1 billion people. This is from, what, 1990s, 1.6 billion. Even if it's 1900s, 1.6 billion people to 8.1 billion. And then 550 million. And then we look at our increase. In modern days, I mean, compared to everybody else, 8.1 billion, and you're talking about maybe 150, 200 million people added, white people, and it's 8.1 billion. That's reversed, isn't it? Look, 1.6 almost. Now it's like, come on, guys. I mean, you don't have to be a genius to figure this out. This is crazy. They're trying to. And why would they do that? Okay, why would they do that? Because black people have shown, sadly, but it's true, not all of them, but a good bit of them, you know, that they'll sell out their own people as long as they're getting benefits, you know? They'll make their people look bad as long as they're getting something out of it. I mean, and again, this is a culture problem, okay? The white liberals taught them to look at everybody as a racist, that hates them, that's oppressing them. So they never tried, they never pushed like they could. Because there's a lot of very intelligent black people. There's a lot of very strong black people. We all know that. Black people run faster, they you know lift stronger and all that. But overall, I would say white people have the higher IQ. I haven't checked the stats on that, but I guarantee you it's true. But I guess we'll see when I make that video, which I will. But let's get back to this video, because I don't want to make this 5 hours long. There's just so many things, branching topics that all lead into this that I kind of want to get into. But for right now, we're going to focus on the video, because I think this really shows like what these people think. And always, when I look in these people's eyes, man, I see evil and vacancy. Like, every time you look in a liberal's eyes compared to, like, look at this man's eyes. You know? And I don't even know what he is. He might be a fucking liberal, but either way, he's intelligent enough to ask the question, so I'd imagine he's not a liberal, because he's going against their playbook. One last thing real quick. No, you're going to find that out in here. I'm just going to shut up. Alright, here, let's watch the rest of this video. I'm going to do my best not to interrupt it through the rest of the way. I'm just trying to add context to what Greg is saying, okay?
and get identification.
You can always get IDs you do over the internet. Does that also make it difficult for black people in particular?
Yeah, you have to have access to the internet. You have to be able to pay an internet service provider for certain fees.
Do you think that's harder for black people to go online?
Well, I feel like they don't have the knowledge of how it works.
A lot of people have smartphones, but you might not have data.
For most.
I'm sorry, man. This is torture. I can't help it. They don't know how the internet fucking works. Look at these people, dude. I mean, look, look, all you black people out there, please stop blaming conservatives for being racist. Please knock it off, okay? I get it. Some of you get benefit out of it. But as an entire species, the same species, humanity, right? We all suffer for it. So please stop it. Look at these fucking people, man. Listen to what they're saying. They're saying you're too stupid to know how to work a phone. You're too poor to be able to go 5 blocks down. And, dude, wait until you hear these black people responding to this shit. It's fucking hilarious. Really, I'd be angry, to be honest with you, but it is hilarious. Let's see what they got to say.
The communities, they don't really know what is out there just because they're not aware or they're not informed. I also think there's a repression of black voting with how if you're a convicted felon, you're not allowed to vote and everything. And when you look at swing states like Florida, that's
I can't fucking help it, dude. So who thinks that all black people are criminals? I haven't heard no conservatives running on that shit. This chick just... She's on a fucking camera saying this garbage, yo. She's proud of this shit. In her mind, by pandering to black people, it makes up for the fact that she thinks that black people are stupid, poor, and they apparently live in huts out in the middle of nowhere. Or ghettos that are made of, I don't know, straw buildings, and they shit outside in a hole they dug, man. These people are so blatantly racist. Yeah, how is it? That's what I'm saying. It's always the inverse, right? It's always the fucking inverse. It just makes no sense to me. None.
a huge population of the African Americans.
Now I'm here in East Harlem to ask black people their thoughts on what you just heard. Do you have ID normally? You carry ID around?
Yes, I have state ID.
Do you carry ID?
Yes, I do.
Do you know any black person who doesn't carry ID?
No. Everyone that I know has an ID. Why would they think we don't have ID?
That's a lie. Why would they say that?
Do you have ID?
Yeah, these people's acts, just the way they react just fucking cracks me up, dude. They're like, what? Who the fuck is saying that? Oh, man. This is fucking perfect, dude. Oh, man, this is so perfect. Holy shit.
Yes. Because I have my ID and my friends have their ID, so we know what we need to carry around.
Yeah, everybody that I know have ID. That's one of the things you need to walk around with New York with, ID.
Do you know any black adult who does not have ID?
No, I don't.
Is it a weird thing to even say that?
Yes, it is.
What is this, some type of trick candy camera?
I know, right? That's the only thing I brought with me.
Those are legit IDs. I heard a lot also that black people can't figure out how to get to the DMV.
Really?
What does that say to you?
I know it's that, on 25th Street.
Do you know where the DMV is, Ryan?
Dude, this reminds me of people of Baltimore. Yeah? Like, if you said that to one of them, they'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? It's right there. We're literally across the street from it, stupid. Oh my God.
125th Street and 3rd Avenue, I believe.
You know how to get there?
Yeah.
Did you have a problem getting there if you had to get there?
No.
I know these sound like silly questions. You know how to get to the DMV?
Of course.
You know where it is?
Yes.
You can get there?
Uh-huh.
No problem.
No problem.
Just checking.
Okay.
And I also heard a lot that black people, especially poor black people, have no access to the internet, can't figure out how to use the internet.
That's just stupidity, honestly.
Yeah, so I'm not entirely sure why black people haven't figured out the games from Democrats in regards to how Democrats really do believe that black people are dumb, right? They're too dumb to do anything, to use the internet, to get an ID, to feed themselves, right? To get a job, right? Anything you can think of. This is how Democrats feel. Seriously. So, with that being said, CNN is going to deliver some bad news to Democrats who are boohoo, whining, crying Jim Crow about vote ID law.
Hold up a second. You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of all the movies I've seen about how white people treated black people during Jim Crow and before that. You know, when they were pretty much forcing integration, you know, how those people, like, no, even before that, the word, you know, hey boy, you know, and all that other shit, man. These people really think, I mean, seriously, this is not a both parties thing. Like I said, this isn't like, I made this video because it is so much, it is so clear that conservatives are the party that is fighting for black people, but for some reason, well, no, I've already listed the reasons, and I'm going to stand by them. Like I said, look at all the welfare moms. Look at all the dads out there getting money they shouldn't get. You know what I mean? Not even worried about getting a job. As long as people think that you can't get a job and work, and they're just going to pay for your life because you're... I mean, why would you care? At the end of the day, hell yeah, I'll use an idiot, right? I mean, useful idiot syndrome is on the left, seriously. And I don't really, at the end of the day, I don't blame black people for using them. The thing I do blame them for is for dragging the fucking country down for it, though. 150%. For tanking our country that we all live in and prosper in and have lifestyles that no other person on the planet has, and yet they're still not fucking happy with their lot in life. They have to press it and get an advantage by letting these evil people, these evil demon rats, get, you know, more and more power. I mean, just like, again, Republicans voting against the SAVE Act. What kind of lunacy is that? Those people need to be ran out of office, period. And I'm done with hearing this nonsense about... I never put up with it anyway, right? I never put up with it anyway. Like, people claiming that black people couldn't do this, or, oh, they commit crimes because they don't know. Man, shut the fuck up. Again, like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, have you never met a black man in your life, or a black woman? Seriously, you've never met any of them? I mean, they do everything we do. A lot of them do it better. I mean, hell, it's like a laughing thing. When I was in Baltimore, man, it was a big running joke. All my black friends, and I mainly hung out with black people. Where they were like, yeah, if they're gonna think that way, I mean, they're useful idiots then. I mean, but it's really more pertinent. It's more, what's that word? Like, pernicious. It's more pernicious than that. It's more evil than that. Because at the end of the day, if we let the Democrats win, and take this to the fucking bank, man, you don't like slavery? That's what they're trying to impose on these illegals, okay? They've said it time after time after time. Who would do the work? Who would do the hard work, the labor work? Who would do the, I guess, what they're saying is the demeaning work, the low IQ work, right? That's what the fuck they're saying. And everybody should be offended over that. I mean, everybody should be waving the flag that the Democrat Party is a party of racism, because they actually are. Their actions prove that, no matter what their mouths say. We can all listen to them and what they're saying. I mean, when they're defending it and all that stuff and all that shtick, doing their normal bullshit, they pander to black people to get the vote. And sadly, like I said, it all comes down to wanting to be able to use that as an excuse. You know, well, I don't know how to do this or that, you know. I mean, sadly, there are quite a few black people out there to take advantage of it. I've known people who've done it. You know, I know for a fact that they know how to do what they're claiming they don't know how to do. You know what I mean? But yet they do it anyway, because guess what? I mean, sadly, a lot of liberals will defend them on it. They'll go, yeah, you know, you get it. Like, oh, they're living in huts down by the creek. Get the fuck, man, stop. I mean, just stop. But whatever. Let's get back into this.
Because this is not controversial. This is one of those, I mean, let's be real. I mean, this is not even 80-20. This looks like 90-10, to be honest with you. A 90-10 issue that I don't understand why is it that we already don't have universal voter ID at this point. So let's get into it.
All right, new big-time Donald Trump supporter getting a lot of attention for a tweet that she made on the issue of voter ID. Nicki Minaj wrote, quote, "What sensible, forward-thinking, cutting-edge leading nation is having a debate," all caps, "on whether or not there should be voter ID, like they're actually fighting not to have people present ID when voting for your leaders. Do you get it? Do you get it now?" CNN chief data analyst.
I get it. I'm just saying, I get it. I hear you, Nikki. I got it. I got you. I get it. I know what's going on too, and it's not just one party doing it either.
Journalist Harry Enton is with me. So voter ID, just so people understand, is the idea that someone shows a photo ID when they go to vote, when they go to cast their actual ballot, because there's a separate discussion right now about needing a passport or a birth certificate to register to vote, but the polling is all on voter ID showing an ID to vote.
Showing a photo ID to vote, and the American people are with Nicki Minaj, because what are we talking about here? So take a look here, favor voter ID to vote. Look, I got all this polling on the screen going back since 2018. You'll notice on all of it, it's all north of 75%, 76%, 76%, 76%, 81%, and then 83% in the last year of Americans agree with Nicki Minaj. They favor photo ID to be able to vote.
What about by party? What's the party breakdown?
Yeah, normally you might expect, hey, there'd be a big divide by party with Republicans really for it and Democrats really against it. But not really here. I mean, just take a look here. Favor photo ID to vote. You got 95% of Republicans, pretty much all of them, but even 71% of Democrats favor photo ID to vote. So again, Nicki Minaj posting that on X, and what you see is that the American people, actually, it's not really all that controversial. The American people are with Nicki Minaj, whether they are Republican or even if they are Democrats. We're talking about 7 in 10 Democrats agreeing with Nicki Minaj that you, in fact, should show a voter photo ID to vote.
Yeah, so here's the thing, right? I don't think it's quite that simple, right? I think it is quite that simple for Republicans, right? As it should be, right? Everybody should agree, yeah, you need an ID to vote. Democrats, on the other hand, I think that even though they agree, 71% of them agree, they want caveats like, for example, universal IDs, right? They want universal IDs paid for by the government, and they want automatic voter registration, right? So I think they only really support it, and this is why I think that number is as low as it is, because I think everybody in principle kind of agrees that you need a photo ID in order to vote. Like you should have to show a photo ID in order to vote, except the actual Democrat Party, right? The people who are in Congress positions of power, they don't, because they want the illegals to vote. But I think that the actual voters, they agree, but also at the same time, they want automatic voter registration, right? So they want people to automatically be registered to vote if ID is required to vote. And I personally do not believe in automatic voter registration, because I think that that opens up the system to waste, fraud, and abuse. And
all right, so he's gonna get into now, and I agree with everything he's saying. By the way, he's 100% right here. Why we need voter ID laws. Matter of fact, I'll take it one step further. As long as there are not voter ID laws, we do not have a country. I mean, flat out, you can't buy liquor without an ID. You can't. I mean, every important thing you need ID to do it. I mean, you need to know who the person is. But for some reason, in a fucking election where it matters who the person is, are you kidding me? You're not required ID. Something that could shape the landscape of the country, and we've seen this over the last 20 years, right? I mean, this is an issue. It needs to be done. And again, everybody, especially if you're in John Thune's district, I did last night. I called my senator. I mean, sadly, my senator, I don't know. I don't think he's gonna agree with me, but because he's a demon rat, sorry. But anyway, like, without voter ID, our elections are very insecure. Matter of fact, that's why people, in my opinion, if they push laws through that you had to have an ID, for one, that would be the death knell of the Democrat. It sucks that they don't have polls on this anymore. Not that I've seen. Okay, there's the Tree of Liberty requires sacrifice of blood of patriots, okay? That's a saying by, Thomas Jefferson. Government always grows. It vacuums up, you know what I mean? And even people, when they're trying to fight against it, and especially in Trump's case, where he's kind of alone in that, do you understand what I mean? Like, it's very hard to push back on the government, especially the size of government that we have in this country, or especially the idiots that are getting into it and ruining our country. If the people, if one group of people won't fucking fight back, the group that's supposed to be keeping accountability. Look, like I said, we send people to die all the time, soldiers, right? But yet we should expect nothing out of citizens to protect our country? That makes zero sense. I mean, if it's going to be like that, then every American should have to serve in the military, right? I mean, there should be something you're giving back to your country, you know? There really should be. It's nonsense. The idea that there are people out there who live in this country and enjoy all the benefits of it and all the freedoms of it. If you lived in China, you'd likely be a slave, living in some poverty shithole place that's collapsing. If you tried to say or speak or do anything, they would just end you. You know what I mean? Or send you to a slave camp. Same thing with Africa. Why is it that America's held to these insane standards that no other country can meet? You know, and then not only are we held to those standards, but every other country is forgotten about. That pisses me off. You know, we're a better country by a long length than every other country on the planet. Yet for some reason, you know, white people here and blah, blah, blah. It's because there's more white people in America. And, you know, it's just very depressing, man. I'm getting sick and tired of it. It's getting to the point now to where I just, like I said, if the American people can't even be bothered to go and protest, you know what I mean? Counter-protest all these ICE riots and all this shit that these paid actors are doing. And most of these people are cowards. It wouldn't take much, you know what I mean, of American conservatives. Think about this. Think about this in your head for a minute. Imagine a couple thousand people in every state, okay? Conservatives coming out and walking in the open, down streets, whatever, down sidewalks, following the law, because that's the idea, right? Is that we want to show that we could do this by following the law. Instead of smattering here and there we get, and then they get attacked and jumped by these insane liberals. You know what I mean? Imagine how patriotic our nation would be if the people on the side fighting for it were actually doing things to help it. I hope that comes around, man. The thing that worries me is the idea that you take things for granted that you don't earn. You know what I mean? That's what concerns me. People don't value the rights and the freedoms and the lives that they have in this country, so they're willing to let all those rights, values, and freedoms slip away. And they're going to regret it when they're gone. And then they'll be bitching and whining and, you know, we need to fight to get our rights back. Once they're already gone, you can't get them back. It's like, no, we should have been doing that a long time ago. That's our responsibilities as citizens of this country because we are caretakers of it. And I believe the quote is like, the true liberty requires sacrifice of blood of patriots. That's us. That's us, the Conservative Party. I mean, hell, the Republican Party was created to oppose the Democrat Party and slavery and stuff like that. That was one of the reasons. And we have to deal with this, guys. We really do. This is not something that can just continuously be ignored, because I'm telling you that we're on our last leg in this country. You might not think we are, but you realize the value of the American dollar is like 3% right now? That's 3 cents for every dollar. Every dollar you have in your pocket is only worth 3 pennies. If we don't stop this, we're going to lose this nation. You better start caring, because I'm telling you, you're going to care when all your freedoms are gone. You're going to care when somebody puts that boot on your neck, because that's what's coming. I mean, if the American people don't firm up, grow a spine, let, you know, insults like, oh, you're racist. Man, miss me with that stuff, and you would anyway, because I'm like a duck to water, man. That should just, whatever, dude, whatever you want to think. I mean, unless somebody's trying to get up in my face and do something aggressive or something, yeah, I might, at that point, things might get a little wild. But that being said, most people don't do that, because I'm not a small dude, and I'm not out of shape. I'm just injured badly. But that don't mean I can't defend myself. All right, let's get back into this video.
Number should be even higher. Okay, this should be a 90-10 issue, right? I believe that it is, to be honest with you, but you know, hey. So with that being said, numbers like this strongly suggest that Republicans need to grow a backbone when it comes to this issue of election integrity, right? Like, this is an issue where I think, in my opinion, it is worth reinstating the talking filibuster, right? If, you know, they got to reinstate that in order to get it passed and force Democrats to defend being against voter ID on the House floor, then do that, right? I think that is a good thing, right? If legislation like this is popular, I think that it generally makes sense to say, hey, let's do a talking filibuster, right? A standing filibuster. I don't think it makes sense to get rid of the whole filibuster, but to make Democrats play defense on an issue like this, again, an issue that, as you can see, the American people agree with Republicans on publicly, right? To make them do it publicly, I think is a good thing, right? I think it's a smart move. And because it's a good thing, because it's a smart move, because it makes so much sense, this is why Republican leadership in the Senate, this is why they're already kind of backing down from it.
Let's listen here. Filibuster to try to outlast the Democratic minority under current rules. Do you have any expectation that you can succeed with that, given the enormous difficulty of doing that? In fact, the previous majority has not been able to.
Right. Well, I guess, and I would just remind people that the coin in the realm in the Senate is floor time. There's a finite amount of it, and we have a lot of things we have to do. There's a housing bill that's awaiting action, hopefully a market structure bill, possibly permit.
This dude needs to go, man. He needs to go. I mean, seriously. And these guys around, look at them. Again, that eye thing. Look at their eyes, man. I mean, these are rhinos right here. These are just evil people. Look, Thune, you can talk all the shit you want to. You are a fucking sellout, dude. You're a traitor. Period. I mean, the fact that you were just late, yeah, dude, I'm telling you, it just pisses me off because they get up on here. They get up on a podium and they love getting this press conference, this news conference, and news time. They get their faces out there, right? And then they back off. They don't do anything. They try to convince you that they're gonna do something about it. Oh yeah, he's the one that brought up the whole idea about the talking filibuster, which would have worked. Oh well, we got so many other important things like this and that, and none of them are as important as voter integrity. You freaking oh my lord, like I said, this man needs to be replaced now. If he will not prioritize voter ID, then he needs to be replaced now. He is not part of the conservative ticket. I mean, get this guy out of office. Get him out of House leadership. The Senate is already fairly freaking useless. The majority of those people in there, in my opinion, are traitors. I guarantee you, if you looked into their history and their background, you're going to find out that there's a lot of shit. There's a lot of shit buried in their closets. The Senate is just... I'm getting to the point, honestly, where I think the president should just dissolute, what do they call that? Where he can end the, at least temporarily suspend the Senate and Congress. That way he could just get things through. It's like the filibuster. Like Greg says he's for it. I'm not. I am totally not. I mean, normally I would be, but the fact is that as long as we got, rejects like this dude making our elections unfair there's no way for us to prove that there is election fraud truly at the end of the day because of people like this man right here. And elections should be the most important thing in a freaking republic or democracy. I mean, these people dare on the Democratic side to call themselves Democrats, yet they're not for the democratic solution. Look how fast they ran to support Ukraine. Where do you think the Ukrainian dude, Zelensky, got the idea to do what he did? I guarantee you it was from Americans. It was from these Americans, man. I guarantee you dig down in, you're going to find a lot of that shit. And I hope Trump goes hard on this, man. Call John Thune out. Get him out of speaker leadership. Get somebody in there. I don't know who it would be, honestly, because I'm telling you, the majority of these people are just, I mean, look at them. For one, they're old as dirt. And for two, they're just horrible people. I mean, they don't care about America. If they cared about America, then you wouldn't have had the SAVE Act sitting on their desk and being ignored for the last 6 fucking months. I mean, what farmer things need to be handled over top of voter integrity? What is more important than voter integrity? Sorry, John Thune, you're a sellout. Get the fuck out of the leadership position. Matter of fact, everybody that's in his state, get him out of office, man. I mean, he's telling you right now that what you decide, your vote means nothing to him. It's less important than every other thing on the table. Everything matters more, and we're never going to have this country back. This is where we need to start. If we want to take America back for the people and put it back in the people's hands, okay, this is what we need to do. We need to firm up our elections, and we need to remove. This isn't just weakness, okay? That's always a cop-out to me. This isn't weakness. This is calculation. He said it before he thought it through. And then he doubled back on it because he realized he can. A lot of times they'll use them as negotiating points and try to get other stupidity passed through, against the Democrats. And Democrats, they desperately don't want that to happen, because if that happened, I'm sure this is in John Thune's mind too, and he'll just put it in his back pocket to make money and all that. If the Democrats lose the ability to, I think it's proper. He's wearing a blue tie right now, by the way. If the Democrats, if they were to lose this voting aspect where they don't have to show ID at the voter tally, that would be the end of the Democrat Party. You would see Democrats losing all over the nation. It would be primarily a Republican nation. And you know what? That's fine. We're a republic. We are not a democracy. I mean, we're an amalgamation of the two now, sadly, because it got snuck in and the laws got pushed in. And it was done by politicians. You know what I mean? They're deliberately creeping us towards communism, whether they know it or not. And some of them, I truly believe, they know it. They outright know what they're doing. It's just inexcusable, man. And by the way, this dude is not a Democrat, okay? He's not a demon rat, so you can't say I'm not holding both parties accountable. I clearly see the problems with Congress and the Senate. Just like other people that were congressmen and senators, when they come out, they're like, Jesus, that place is filled with corruption. I mean, like the idea that these people can vote in their own fucking raises. What? The most unpopular bodies in the country right now are the Senate and Congress, yet they give themselves multiple huge raises a year? Are you kidding me? I mean, most of the time they're stabbing you in the back anyway. You know what I mean? All this could be fixed if we had proper votes. I mean, elections. Because think about it. People like him would not get in office. He would not be voted in. Because I guarantee you, people like him are being supported and are using the same systems against their fellow Republicans too. That's why we can't get quality people, quality leaders in government. And I agree with Greg. You should not be able to vote if you don't have intelligence. You know, I think there should be an IQ test on it. Like, flat out, an IQ test. That is not something, in my opinion, super complicated. Just go up and have your IQ tested. If you're below a certain rate, then you don't get to vote. I mean, you have to understand how this shit's going. You got people that don't even know who the players are, who the people who are in office are. You have people that don't even know what happened yesterday, much less 5 years ago. You know what I mean? And they're the ones voting. That's why our founding fathers wanted it to be a high bar to vote. You know, like, again, you had to be invested into the country somehow. Through military service, through maybe your private life, things that you've done. It's not like only military people be able to vote, like in Helldivers too, or something. Which, by the way, a quick note before we finish this, because I'm going to finish this video up and wrap it up. I'm going to be posting videos. Helldivers just had an update. So please keep your eyes open for that video. And I appreciate if you stuck around this long. I mean, this is just about over, so I appreciate if you stuck around this long. Just please, guys, hit the like and subscribe button. I mean, I can see the reach that goes out, and it's just a shame because it isn't just me. You know, it's tons of YouTubers out there. They spend hours a day making this content to push it out to you so that you understand what's going on in a very tidbite way. You know, in a way that you don't have to do it. We're already doing all the research for you. You know what I mean? And then we're putting it all together and sharing out other people's videos, adding in our own stuff, because you can't just, like, copy other people's content and throw it out without any changes to it. And plus, I think that adding my own context to it, right, makes it uniquely my video. Even if Greg is the one who found the sources, which he only found a couple of sources. Actually, I don't want to be insulted. I know what he did here, okay? And that's fine, because I do my videos the same way. He makes great videos, he makes great content, and especially the man is black, so this racist nonsense where people use racism to pound white people down for those who care. I don't care. You can call me racist all day. I know what I am. I know what I am. Ain't nobody going to tell me what I am. You know what I mean? Even if the whole world thought that. Well, tough on the world. Because I'm not. But anyway, let's get back to this.
Reform, farm bill, highway bill, you can go right down the list. Russia sanctions, there are a whole bunch of things that could be teed up for action on the floor of the Senate. And so you have to make some judgments, and the conference will have a conversation about that. I've committed to that we will talk about that idea and determine whether or not what the conference's views are about it and how they want to proceed. As I said, we will vote on the SAVE Act, but exercising or triggering a talking filibuster has ramifications, implications that I think everybody needs to be aware of. So we will have those discussions. But
okay, Okay then, Jonathan, why don't you tell us what those ramifications are right now? I mean, we all tuned in to what? Hear you give excuses? Again, them eyes, man. Them eyes. And look at all these fools. They're all just staring at him. Like, yeah, tell him, John. Tell him. I cannot stand these fucking politicians, man. I cannot stand them. And I know a lot of people over history have, but I mean, truly, we have evil people in government today. And in both parties, by the way.
That's obviously ties the floor up for an indefinite amount of time with not only unlimited debate, but also unlimited amendments.
All right, rather, we had the Senate Majority Leader and the Speaker of the House speaking at the same time. That's why we're jumping back and forth. But the bill has passed, funding DHS and the other.
Yeah. So like I said, it makes so much sense that the weak Republicans in the Senate are probably not going to do it because, again, it makes too much sense, right? It would make Democrats look too bad, right? It would strike a huge blow to Democrats that would just be too damaging for Republicans to actually get the cojones, the stones to do the right thing, right? It's very frustrating. It really is. But I'm hoping, right? I'm hoping that there's enough pressure put on Leader John Thune in order to do what must be done, right? Because I understand that he claims that Republicans have other priorities and they don't want to take up floor time and all that good stuff. But there's no more important of a priority than to secure our elections, right? When we talk about citizenship to register to vote, I think that's important. When you talk about voter ID, I think that's important, right? If you solve those two issues, that goes a long way when it comes to elections, right? Winning elections, yeah, if you can solve those issues, okay, and stop Democrats from finagling their elections in the blue states, right, aka stopping illegals from voting, things of that nature, who knows? They may start to struggle in some of these blue states. I don't know, right? I'm just saying that these are the most important issues, right? And to say that, well, we got other issues that we want to take care of, I understand that. But get this done, right? Get a major win done for the base, okay? There's no bigger win than universal vote ID, universal proof of citizenship in order to register to vote. Securing our elections is the most important issue right now that Republicans can tackle in Congress. And if they can do that, then it will be a huge W. And I'm hoping that they grow enough stones to actually do this. They can certainly get it done. They have the support from the American people. I honestly really don't get why they wouldn't push this. It's an easy W, to be honest with you. But hey, again, Republicans snatching defeat from the jaws of victory, right? That's probably the best thing the Republicans are good at right now. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.
Like I said, I like Greg. I like Greg's content. And I'm with him here in this video. This show got a little bit longer than I intended it to. But yeah, liberals are definitely more racist than conservatives are, and it's really getting to be old hearing that. And like I said, I noticed that there weren't any other videos literally done in the last 3 years addressing that. I mean, people mention it in their videos, but to see it with your own two eyes, to listen to these people and how little they think about, like, black people, if I was black, that would piss me off. Like, that would, I mean, I'm white, and it pisses me off, like, to hear other people, because believe it or not, I mean, the Democrats are all day gonna call me racist, I get that, just for saying the black, you know, just, oh my god, you said black, you know, black, as in black person, but I'm actually very pro-America, Americans, and black people are just as American as we are, you know what I mean, not the Somalis, and the Somalis are not black people, they're Somalis, and we have a long history with Somalis on top of it, a very negative history. Like them taking a lot of white slaves. A lot of them. Again, I brought this up in the past, but it needs to be said over and over and over again and repeated, because apparently that works to get people to remember it. But the transatlantic slave trade had nothing on the Barbary slave trades. Nothing. Literally. I'm talking, it was minuscule compared to the Barbary slave trade. You should really look into the Barbary slave. I might do a video on that, but I don't know who would actually watch it, you know what I mean? And anymore it seems like videos just don't get likes. I mean, the more views I get, still people ain't putting likes, not because they don't like the videos. I mean, I get compliments and all that shit all the time. It's just that people have gotten so lazy to the point that I'm like not trying to shame anybody into doing it. Well, I'm sort of, not really shame them, just explain it. Like, for all the effort it takes to do these videos, you know, why wouldn't you give somebody a thumb up if you've watched it? You know what I mean? If you've consumed that product. Instead, it doesn't cost you anything. It's a click, you know? And if you like the content, then hit a sub. At least you'll get the stuff that'll be recommended to you that you want to see. Instead, most people just don't even do any of that. They just click away like it's a TikTok ad. And then YouTube brought the shorts on here, and that just made it fucking worse. And I'm telling you, a lot of this is being done on purpose. They don't want you thinking things through. They don't want you being educated. They don't want you intelligent. They don't want you knowing shit. They want you as dumb as you could possibly be. So what you should do is not be dumb. You know what I mean? And support the people that are who share the same idea, that you should know stuff. I mean, not everybody has the time that I have to invest into doing this. So. But anyway, regardless, I mean, hell, if you don't like the video, explain why and throw me a thumbs down. You know, I'm good with that. Just interact with it. You know what I mean? That way, YouTube will actually pick it up and put it out there so other people to show up in the recommended ad, because it's very hard to get anything that deals with like calling out the Liberal Party or showing the truth of it gets just crushed. I mean, not as much on my other platforms, you know what I mean? The one like Rumble and Facebook and X. I mean, things have been kind of exploding over on X. Thank God. I don't make any money from this at all. You know, I just do it, like I said, because I'm a patriotic American, and I do believe at this point we need to be doing an education war. Like, in other words, we need to be opening people's eyes, because there's a lot of things out there that people just don't know. You know what I mean? Some people don't care about it. I know people that don't give a shit. And in my opinion, those are exact people that shouldn't be allowed to vote. Because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They don't care about the country. If they did, they would be doing what I'm doing right now. Because this, I'm telling you, it's going to lead to our collapse as a nation. That's a big deal. That's a whole worldwide big deal. You know, in the Bible, it talks about the end times, and you know what? America's not there. Think about that. And the Bible's been right about everything so far. So, just saying. I don't know. Anyway. Alright, well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. You can see every context I brought up there and stuff. I am going to be making like I said, I'm doing Helldivers 2 content again. I hope that you guys hang around for that. I'm going to be doing a video here in a little bit on the commando raids. And some other videos on other games that I've really found interesting. Matter of fact, I know, don't crucify me, but, you know, I'm playing through Avowed, and I'm actually pleasantly surprised. It is a really good game. I mean, it's got third-person mode, and the physics are good on it, you know? I mean, what is it? The sword strikes being... By the way, you got black powder weapons in there, too, you know what I mean? And ships and all that stuff. It comes off a really good franchise called, I think it's Deadfire Archipelago, which is a second game. It's just this whole series, like an RPG, like a CRPG originally, and then now it's transferred over to being a first-person game. Like, and it's really good. I mean, you get really good. Like, I mean, like kicking people, like all these attacks you can do, and you know, using weapons and swords and stuff. I mean, it's not Kingdom Come levels of it, but this is a secondary. This is like not a AAA company doing it. So I definitely support any gaming company that puts true effort into their game, and that they don't have the diversity nonsense in there. You know what I mean? I want those companies to come down top, so I'm going to cover them as much as I can. But anyway, I know. I'm sorry. I'm telling you, so many things go through my head a day. I could just rant on for an entire day. I should start doing streams, live streams. I mean, I'm thinking about doing that, matter of fact, because that's really the way to go with this. But I hope everybody has a good day, and you know, use your head, because it's why God gave it to you. You know what I mean? It's what separates us from the animals. If you don't use your brain, it rots, and eventually it affects the whole country. I mean, everything we do affects the country. The safety and security of it. Coming from people that historically have defended this nation. It's not fair that citizens sit back and they feel like they don't have to put any effort into defending this country. It is their responsibility, and now mine, to defend this nation from the inside. And I just don't see citizens really doing that. But then again, look at the politicians, you know? Anyway, call your senator. Call your local senator and tell them that you want the SAVE Act through. You want it done now. I mean, I agree with Matt Morris on this. Like, we all need to get on the same page and make these people follow the law, because that's what they're breaking the law, really. I mean, democracy and a republic, you need to have people voting. You know what I'm saying? And if all these votes are being canceled out and they don't exist, then do we have a country? I say no. Give me your opinion on that in the comments, and I appreciate your time and effort. I appreciate your time in watching the video. Sorry. And have a good day. Have a good, blessed day. Suspante Deus Volt.